Organically and presents how to cook a Bigfoot meatloaf with a side of Ogre Wart Mashies, especially for Halloween. Besides going out and catching a Bigfoot, I first want to show you everything you're going to need to get this recipe started. We're going to need 1 knife, a colander, a bowl, 2 pounds of ground turkey, 1 pound of ground pork, 1 pound of ground beef, 3 ounces of Parmesan cheese, 1 teaspoon of Italian seasoning, no salt, 1 teaspoon of black pepper, 1 teaspoon of sea salt, salt to taste, a cutting board, 2 eggs, 1 onion, a loaf of bread about this size, 6 cloves of garlic, 6 ounces of mozzarella cheese, a grater, and a dish to go underneath, 8 ounces of beef or chicken stock. We're also going to need a large casserole dish because this Bigfoot foot is going to take up the whole length of this pan. You're going to need a skillet to saute your onions and spices, and 2 tablespoons of olive oil for the pan and more for later. For the Ogre Wart Mashie, you're going to need a soup pot, 6 ogre warts, milk of choice, I chose oat milk, a small saucepan, and a stick of butter.
First things first, we've got to catch ourselves a Bigfoot in order to make this dinner. We've had sightings in our backyard, so come on, let's go. Let's catch ourselves a Bigfoot. All right, guys, I heard something back here. He's been in our backyard, and in fact, he's tried to get into my chicken coop over here. I want to eat Sasquatch foot tonight. It would be the perfect Halloween dinner. Let's do a call. Freaking A, I think he's behind the pallets. Dang it, he is over there. Get down. Let's go around. We gotta go around over here. Oh my gosh, he is right near us right now. Squatchy, it's me! Alright guys, I gotta tell you, I couldn't kill Squatchy. Yeah, he's my friend. And he helps to protect our yard. But I'm gonna make a meatloaf that looks just like Squatch's foot. And we're gonna have it for our Halloween dinner.
So let's mix it all up and get started. We're grabbing that loaf of bread and we're gonna go ahead and hollow it out. I don't like using the crust because the crust just doesn't break down that well. You can go with gluten-free oats or even gluten-free bread. In this case, I'm using sourdough. And like I said, don't use the crust because it just doesn't break down right. Save it for making breadcrumbs. And after it's all hollowed out, what we do is we take it and we're going to wet this bread so it's really easy to work with. Time to carry the colander over to the sink so we can wet our bread evenly. You just want it to be thoroughly wet through, and then you're going to right away squeeze all that out. If you come across a piece of crust, get rid of it. Squeeze out the excess water, and then we're going to set it in the bowl and set it aside till we're ready for it. Grab your garlic and onions because it's time to chop them up. You want to save the first layer of onion skin because we're going to use that for the toenails of our Bigfoot foot. Let me show you what I mean. Now that the toenails are completed, we're going to saute our onions, garlic, and all of our spices. I'll only use half the salt right now, and the rest when I'm mixing my meat all together. But go ahead and put all your Italian spices in. As your onions are sauteing, go ahead and get your cheese grater ready and your mozzarella cheese. Once the mozzarella is all grated up, set it aside and grab your wet bread. We're going to put it into our mixing bowl along with the 3 different kinds of meats. Let's give it a mix through. Wait a minute, I've got a little buddy.
My little assistant. Grab it. Okay, let's go wash our hands.
In go our onions, garlic, and spices. Next, grab that Parmesan and sprinkle it around. Crack in your 2 eggs. Let's add in the rest of our salt, and I'm going to throw in a little extra pepper for good measure. It's time to mix up our meat. Next, we're going to create a little pocket for the mozzarella cheese and fold it into our meatloaf so it's all kind of toward the center. Don't panic if the mozzarella seeps out while cooking. Grab your casserole dish, and it's time to start shaping this Bigfoot foot. Once you get the foot fully shaped the way you want it, then it's time to start placing our onions on the toes.
Wow, that's a big foot. What'd you say?
That's a big foot.
That's a huge foot.
Pour about 2 tablespoons of olive oil all over your meatloaf and rub that in. Grab your beef broth and pour it all around the casserole dish. This is going to cause moisture to come to your meatloaf while it's cooking in the oven and also give it some great flavor. Our Bigfoot foot is ready to go into the oven. We're going to set our oven temperature to 400 degrees for about 40 minutes. Grab your 6 Ogre Warts, and we're going to get started on making our Ogre Wart Mashie. Don't forget to throw in some fairy wings to give it that beautiful blue color. Look, it's already turning blue.
Alrighty guys, let's take a view of this. Woo-hoo!
How beautiful that is.
While the meatloaf is cooking, let's get to smashing up our Ogre Warts.
Alrighty guys, we're going to use some oat milk extra creamy for our potatoes. Add some black pepper. Some salt. And crust of our butter.
Let's let the butter and milk cook down and congeal together while we mash these Ogre Warts, aka potatoes. I do not have a potato smasher, so I am using a slotted spoon. It works great. The potatoes go right through it. I'm throwing into our milk solution some fairy wings, aka blue butterfly pea flowers, to make it extra blue. I'm now basting that good juice over top of the meatloaf. You can see that some of the mozzarella has come out, but I poured it on top and I'm going to let it crust up. Cut it open and see how it's doing on the inside. It looks like it's done. The milk is now the blueness that I'm looking for. I pour it over top of the Ogre Wart Mashie and mix it on in. I leave the pea flowers right in there. They just break down and it continues to add this beautiful blue color to it. If you have some garlic salt, I like to finish off this mashie with a touch of that and about a half a cube of butter. Let your meatloaf rest for about 10 minutes if you can, and then feel free to go ahead and start slicing it up. Our Halloween dinner is complete. We made a Bigfoot meatloaf, followed by an Ogre Wart Mashie and a side of corn on the cob.
Look how good that looks. Bon appetit and happy Halloween.